day's got to get better than this. So, starting to get a track roughed out. Obviously I'm carrying a bit of an injury at the moment, so was using the digger to help me rough that out. Now, I should probably say this job's being done on, it is being done on a budget. How much money has one man got? But that meant the purchase of the mini digger had to be done on a budget as well. So I couldn't spend a lot of money. You get what you pay for, and it's a bit of an antique. And this morning it has now decided to crap out all of its hydraulic integrity. I don't know if you can see, but that pool down there, I just filled it up with some hydraulic fluid because it's well, because frankly none of the arms stopped moving last night. Filled it back up, started it up this morning, and just came to have a look around it and just watched it all piddle out at the bottom. Interesting start to the day. So essentially it's in the way at the moment. I suppose I've got two choices. I can repair it or let it rot. I don't want to let it rot. I'm going to need to repair it, but I can't do it right now, I don't have time. So next choice is, could have gone round that way. So what I'm figuring is do is we're going to head that way and we'll come back round and we'll bypass the whole digger area. But before we can do that, we need to go and get some hand tools. As luck would have it, they're actually about half a mile that way through thick forest. I can sharp see this turning into a day in the life. If that's going to be the case, I haven't filmed the boring bits of waking up, having coffee, taking the kids to school and then driving here. They should have been at the start of the video, I suppose. Let's go and get some hand tools. So making my way down towards where the wheelbarrow and hand tools are, it kind of making my way down to, is that going to be stuck on my head for the next 15 minutes now? I hope not. It affords us a chance to walk past my favourite tree, one of my favourite trees. Is it weird to have a favourite tree? Spend enough time on your own in a forest and it doesn't seem that strange. Anyway, look at this big one. Most of the stuff in here, look at big old thing. Most of the stuff in here is planted larch, and you know, it's cool and everything. It's nice up in the forest. But if you have a look at it, spin you around, it all pretty much looks the same, doesn't it? We've got the odd bit of, is that a sycamore? We've got the odd bit of stuff poking through. There's a lot of larch until you get down that other end where these old growth trees. There's a load of them down the far end. It's really cool down there when you see like 7 or 8 of them stood together. The 10-year-old in me wants to climb up that, but the adult that says you're injured, you feel. If we poke out of here, bear with us. God knows how long this vlog's gonna be. Is it a vlog or is it just a video of what goes on? Anyway, if we poke out the back, I've shown some photos of out the front, which is for, can you see out there? That's the pennines at the back. There you go, and it looks, that's not actually the pennines at all. That pointing, if you can see my finger pointing up there, is the route over the A69 across to the northeast. That over that side, those fells are the edge of the Pennines, and then those fells, they're a long way away, so I don't know if that's showing up on GoPro, but those are in Scotland. While we're on with views, this is the view out the front. So you can see the Pennines and everything, not the Pennines, I'm talking utter rubbish. You can see the Lakeland fells. Not a bad front window, huh? So two things have happened since going to get the hand tools and bringing them over here. half an hour's passed, so I'm slightly less angry about the fact that the machine's clapped out. I suppose there's a level of acceptance. And 2, pushing the wheelbarrow over here has made us realise that my shoulder isn't in great shape. So just how effective am I going to be today at cutting in trail? That's kind of questionable. So the outcome is investigate the issue with the machine. I mean, on the way over here there was a lot of like branches and bits and pieces on the ground that could have got up inside and knocked a hose off. You know, you don't know until you have a look, so let's investigate. At this point it's very much debatable whether this might be classed as a good or perhaps a really bad idea. Or maybe it just actually takes 2 people. Or at least one person who isn't one-handed. So I've cracked the top of it. It's a mess under there. There's what appears to be, over here, a return pipe into the top part of the tank. The tank's quite a bit bigger than this top part makes you think, obviously. It needs a lot of hydraulic fluid. Now, I think, what do I know, I'm not a mechanic, but I think that was the return pipe. The top of that pipe was loose, causing a little bit of pooling of hydraulic fluid. It's only mineral oil, I'm not putting my fingers in .4 or anything like that. Of hydraulic fluid back into the top of the box. However, there's a clean bit on the top of the tank, which there shouldn't be, obviously. That means it's had some sort of liquid on there. But that does make us suspicious for a start, the clean bit on top of there, and the pooling. But the drips come out the other side. Well, I've noticed that it is leaning that way a little bit. Tighten that back up now. I suppose it's a case of investigating the rest of it. It'd be great if I had a pit and I could get underneath it, or if the hydraulics were working enough to hitch it up a bit, but it's not, so just have to keep trying. So is a wet hand a particularly scientific way of doing it? No, but it does tell you that when you reach underneath that it's pooling down from somewhere. What I'm interested to know is how much is left in the actual tank. So I'm presuming that is an inspection hatch. You see how it pooled on the top of there? I think it was because this breather pipe was loose. The whole thing's under pressure. Well, it's hydraulics, it should be under pressure, unless there's some sort of let-off valve back to that breather pipe. And that breather pipe, anyway, it sprayed so much that it let it pool on the top of it. It's not because the cap wasn't on tight, I checked that. More investigation. So I've just cracked the tank heads off of this. Now, the problem with the hydraulics started, or I discovered the problem yesterday. So this has had at least 15 hours to stand. And you look in the main tank that you fill, there's a filter in there. Now obviously that's pretty full, but there's a secondary tank. I'll have to go around this way. Second, well, I say second tank, but another part of the tank, and again full in there. Now, sorry, excuse me. Now I'm getting to the feeling of it's not the actual integrity of the tanks, which if it was, that kind of kills this thing because it's old and knackered. And also because it's sat in this place for like 15 hours, and then the only time that I discovered that when it was coming out underneath was when it was turned on, or just after it had been turned on. That says that there's only an issue when it's under pressure. I can't find anything on the top, which says it must be underneath, so it's probably worth investigating. So do you know what? Might not be as bad. Fingers crossed. Might not be as bad as I thought. I'll keep going. So now at a point of somewhere between good news and bad news. Black hand gang. The good news is I've just put the electrics panel back on. Wired it back up to the battery and everything. Clicked her back off to start again. And I heard a so went looking, found my leak. Great news. The leak, and also the good news is it's not right underneath the thing. You know, I don't have to like get a trolley jack or something and winch it up. That's good news as well. So that's all a help. But the leak is in here, and it's not that. It's not this one. It's not that one. But there's one underneath that I can feel underneath there, and I can feel like what feels like a piece of material. It's like there's a hose split. It's not a connector. It's a split, and there's like a piece of material come out now. Are they cloth lined? I don't know. Why would they be cloth lined? I'm not sure on the answer to that anyway. But I found the leak. Just it's a pig. Now logic says take this slot out of the way so that you can get at it, but I just can't do that. I'm not skilled enough to be able to take these off. I don't know if I am. I mean, there's a couple of bolts there. You know, maybe I just crack on and give that a bash to try and get it in. Anyway, what's difficult about this whole process is I'm left-handed, and my shoulder is repaired enough to be moving around, but I can't do any weight on it. I can't wrench on it, so it just makes it that little bit more difficult having to do everything with your wrong hand, if you know what I mean. Do you know what? At this point, I'll accept small graces. The fact that it's not buried right down underneath, in like way down in the bottom, which means I've got to lift this. At least that's something, and at least now I know where it is. And I didn't know that when I started today. It was just piddling out hydraulic fluid, which was bad news. And I've got a leak. I know where the leak is. I'm in a better position than I started the day with. So tap test with the screwdriver says that it's a piece of metal that's bust. Fly in my face. If it's metal, that gives me the feeling that if it can be cleaned, it can be repaired. So duck smart to the rescue, eh? So I've used a piece of metal epoxy on the piece of hydraulic pipe that I think was damaged. Cleaned it off, degreased it first, put some metal epoxy on there. I cut up a little bit of aluminium drinks can as well, put that in. We'll leave it overnight, come back, test it in the morning, fire it up, see what happens. It's got two choices, it'll either work or it won't. However, from the start of the day, I'm in a much better position than I originally was. I know where the leak is, I know it's not in the tanks, I know that it's not underneath, I can see it. So let's just try this repair, let it dry off and harden off overnight, try it in the morning, go again from there. But, you know, better position than we were before. It's all a bit of a pain, but such is forest life.